So fast? Han Huang was stunned as he looked ahead. A circle of light appeared at the end of the ultimate origin passage. As they approached, the father and son flew out in the red light. Outside was the chaotic void. The ancient desolate was ahead. The ancient desolate that had been slashed into two landed in the vast mist, lonely and desolate. At this moment, some living beings were lurking and watching in all directions. There was no lack of heavenly Tao spies among them. Pan Xian hid somewhere. Is that the ancient desolate? Han Huang muttered to himself as his hands in his sleeves clenched into fists. Hanju stepped forward into the void. His body emitted a dazzling divine light that shone in the dark void. Today, the heavenly Tao divine might heavenly sage specially came to seek battle in the ancient desolate. He wants to resolve the hatred and karma. Hanju's voice resounded in the void and echoed in the ancient desolate. In an instant, all the living beings lurking near the ancient desolate woke up. Pan Xian flew out of a huge meteor with a pseudo-sage of the Panga race and looked at him. It's really the heavenly sage. Pan Xian was excited, but he didn't disturb him. The battle between Hanju and the ancient desolate divine spirit was not something he could interfere with. The other living beings in the distance discussed him. Why is it him? He's the heavenly Tao divine might heavenly sage? What a powerful aura! Is that true? A good show is about to begin. Who's that behind the divine might heavenly sage? His aura is at least a great Tao sage. Han Huang's blood boiled when his father shouted. This was the way he wanted to declare war. He immediately caught up and followed his father to the ancient desolate. In a few steps, Hanju had already arrived in front of the ancient desolate. The boundless mist around the ancient desolate instantly dispersed before he even touched it. The scene was spectacular. The full appearance of the ancient desolate was shown. Hanju's gaze crossed the vast ancient desolate mountain and saw the lake with a million geniuses floating inside. He could sense that the lake contained an extremely powerful force that had the profundity of creation. Humph! A cold snort sounded. A ball of black chi swept over from the depths of the ancient desolate. Terrifying killing intent froze the chaotic void. The black aura targeted Hanju, startling Han Huang. Hanju's eyes narrowed. The black aura exploded and Ancestor Tian Su's figure appeared. He wore a gray robe and looked like a ghost. Ancestor Tian Su's expression changed drastically. In that instant, he felt an unprecedented terror. Impossible! A red light condensed behind Hanju like a seal. Countless words appeared in it. They were difficult to understand and mysterious. He was dazzled wherever his gaze landed. Ultimate Origin Heaven Seal. Han Huang looked at the Ultimate Origin Heaven Seal in a daze. This was the first time he felt fear. Back when he faced Jiang Jueshi's great reincarnation creation technique, he did not feel this way. This fear was indescribable, as if he was facing his natural enemy. Ancestor Tian Su stopped and stared at Hanju. He asked angrily, "The divine might heavenly sage wants to barge into my ancient desolate?" Hanju smiled. The ultimate origin heaven seal behind him suddenly changed. Ancestor Tian Su's expression changed drastically and he suddenly disappeared. When he appeared again, he had already appeared inside the ultimate origin heaven seal. His lower body had already entered the strange red word. His upper body struggled crazily like a ghost in purgatory, wanting to crawl out. Divine might heavenly sage. What are you doing? Ancestor Tian Su asked angrily. He had never encountered such a mystical power. He was trapped before he could even unleash his strength. What terrified him the most was that his dermic powers were dissipating and his Tao fruit was melting. Noisy! Hanju didn't even look back. With that said, Ancestor Tiansu's body was directly destroyed, leaving only his remnant soul, struggling at death's door. Domineering. Invincible. Han Huang's blood boiled. The cultivators in the distance were also shocked. The insufferably arrogant Ancestor Tiansu was actually so weak in front of the divine might heavenly sage? Pan Xian was so excited that his face turned red. He had seen how powerful Ancestor Tiansu was. All the mighty figures who attacked the ancient desolate were severely injured by him. A crack appeared in the void millions of kilometers away. A huge palace flew out and figures stood in front of the palace door. The leader was the evil Heavenly Emperor. The evil Heavenly Emperor stared at Hanju's back in surprise. The moment he came out, he saw Ancestor Tiansu being suppressed. The War Buddha stared at Hanju. He was too familiar with the name of the Divine Might Heavenly Sage. The name that the evil Heavenly Emperor had mentioned the most was this one. Hanju also noticed the evil Heavenly Emperor, but he didn't care. He continued forward and walked into the depths of the ancient desolate. Ancestor Tiansu's remnant soul was still struggling in pain, but he produced no sound no matter how much he roared. This was the ultimate origin heaven seal. The seal followed behind Hanju like a red mountain, as if it represented the supreme divine authority. So strong! Han Huang followed behind the ultimate origin heaven seal and looked at it excitedly. He wanted to learn. He had to learn this mystical power. Hanju stepped into the ancient desolate, and the mountains and rivers under his feet instantly turned into dust. With every step he took, the ancient desolate collapsed and was destroyed. This scene fell into the eyes of all the spectators, causing endless shock. An endless lake suddenly exploded in the depths of the ancient desolate. A million geniuses shot into the sky like arrows. They floated in the sky, and the water trickling down their bodies steamed. Every prodigy opened their eyes, they were dark and their auras rose. The weakest of these geniuses was a pseudo-sage. The freedom sages accounted for more than 10,000. All their auras converged and shook the chaotic space. Boom! 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 Explosions sounded everywhere in the two halves of the ancient desolate. Endless dust waves surged into the sky. A black shadow rushed into the sky. Looking up, the number far exceeded the number of geniuses. These black shadows emitted a ghastly and terrifying red light from their eyes. Dao Devil! Countless Dao Devils flew out and quickly surrounded Hanju and his son. The spectators retreated in fear. 10 million. 100 million. 10 billion. 100 billion. More and more Dao Devils flew out. They had all sorts of cultivation levels, including the Great Dao Realm. The pressure from all directions suffocated Han Huang. Why are there so many? Han Huang muttered to himself as he trembled slightly. He was not afraid. Instead, a strong fighting spirit surged in his heart. At this moment, a world-shattering aura emerged from the depths of the ancient desolate. This aura far exceeded the Dao Devils and Ancestor Tiansu. It was so powerful that Han Huang felt that his soul would collapse at any moment. This aura was enough to resist his father. Han Huang suddenly turned around and narrowed his eyes. He grew a little worried. Could his father really defeat such an expert? He wasn't the only one. All the spectators looked in that direction. The ancient desolate divine spirit was about to attack. Boom! The chaotic space twisted violently. Above the ancient desolate, above the heads of the billions of Dao Devils, purple lightning interwove like a lightning prison descending. The War Buddha looked at the 100 billion Dao Devils in front of him and the terrifying aura in the depths of the ancient desolate. His heart beat wildly. Your Majesty, the strength and power of the ancient desolate divine spirit far exceed our imagination. Aren't you going to retreat? Could it be that your majesty wants to save him at the cost of your life? Black Heaven General asked carefully as he stood beside the evil heavenly emperor. The corners of his mouth curled up into a confident smile that others could not understand. The War Buddha and the Black Heaven General were stunned. Why did His Majesty trust the Divine Might Heavenly Sage so much? At the same time, Hanju's expression didn't change upon facing the ancient desolate Divine Spirit's domineering aura. Hanju's robes fluttered in the divine light. He was like the absolute peak of the Divine Spirit Lord in ancient legends. No storm in time could shake him. Father! Han Huang raised his hand and called out with a worried expression. Hanju's voice floated into his ears. Only he could hear it. Watch carefully. Father will teach you a lesson today. I can kill him. The reason I'm waiting like this is to defeat him openly, to intimidate all parties in the chaos. Let your enemy show his strength first so that others will know how terrifying you truly are. The prerequisite for all of this is the cultivation that persisted for the last 1,000,000 years. Cultivation is to always be stronger than your opponent. Hanju's words resounded in Han Huang's ears like thunder, shocking him. Especially the last sentence. Always be stronger than your opponent. In the depths of the ancient desolate, billions of Tao devils parted to make way for the ancient desolate divine spirit that emitted an endless evil aura. Divine Might Heavenly Sage, you're getting anxious. I haven't even gone to the heavenly Tao and you're already here. You're not like the past. The ancient desolate divine spirit's voice sounded desolate and cold. The ancient desolate divine spirit sneered. Hanju continued forward. His gaze landed on the ancient desolate divine spirit and he said, You have surpassed the great Tao Supreme Realm. You are indeed impressive. Attack! The ancient desolate divine spirit laughed wantonly. Attack? Divine Might Heavenly Sage, you think too highly of yourself. Feel the power of the 8 quadrillion Tao devils first. Boom! Han Huang nervously prepared to fight. However, at this moment, the ultimate origin heaven seal emitted a dazzling red light. In an instant, the 8 quadrillion Tao devils vanished. Almost at the same time, they appeared in the ultimate origin heaven seal and struggled crazily. The densely packed Tao devils were all trapped in the ultimate origin heaven seal. They struggled crazily like sticky boards filled with ants. One's scalp tingled upon looking at this scene. The ancient desolate divine spirit was moved. Han Huang was stunned. He didn't expect the 8 quadrillion Tao devils to be directly suppressed by his father. He wasn't the only one. The spectators in the distance were also shocked. How strong was the Divine Might Heavenly Sage? Hanju smiled. The 8 quadrillion Tao devils in the ultimate origin heaven seal instantly turned into red smoke and were sucked into the seal. They fused into one, and only Ancestor Tiansu was still struggling at death's door. Ancestor Tiansu could survive because Hanju didn't want to kill him. Hanju looked at the ancient desolate divine spirit and smiled. You can attack now. The ancient desolate divine spirit was silent. The entire chaos fell silent. The moment the Tao Devil appeared, the pressure caused everyone to shiver, but they didn't expect it to be easily resolved by Hanju. What would the ancient desolate divine spirit do next? Very good. I didn't think too highly of you. The Tao Devils were not prepared for you. They were prepared for the heavenly Tao. I'll let you see how strong the power above the chaos is. The ancient desolate divine spirit rose. Its already terrifying aura was still increasing. Space collapsed and layers of deep space appeared. The living beings watching the battle panicked. They mobilized their dermic powers, afraid that they would be destroyed by the surrounding spatial power. Han Huang looked at the ancient desolate divine spirit and was secretly shocked. The power that surpassed the chaos? So powerful. This was the strongest aura he had ever felt. He felt as weak as a mortal in front of the ancient desolate divine spirit. He couldn't resist in the slightest. Discover EW chapters at Novel by Co. Even though he tried his best to fill himself with fighting spirit, he was still suppressed and could not move. The difference in cultivation level was too great, suppressing his talent. It was not only all the living beings in this chaos. All the living beings in the entire chaos and countless domains could sense the ancient desolate divine spirit's terrifying aura. On the heavenly Tao side, the sages gathered in the universal hall, thinking that the ancient desolate was attacking. Heavenly Venerate Xian Du waved his hand, and a crystal appeared in the hall. The crystal expanded and revealed the scene in front of Pen Xian. Divine Might Heavenly Sage. The Heavenly Age went to fight the ancient desolate divine spirit? What's going on? Why didn't the Heavenly Sage tell us in advance? Is it really the Heavenly Sage? Doesn't the Heavenly Sage always stay in the Heavenly Tao? Indeed. He used a clone to go to the Grand Primordium domain previously. Why this time? The sages discussed. Everyone was worried for Hanju, because the ancient desolate divine spirit was too powerful. His aura caused the sages to feel tiny and made freedom tremble. The ancient desolate divine spirit looked down at Hanju and said disdainfully, "Divine Might Heavenly Sage, I'll let you experience the power of the divine authority first." He raised his hand and waved it. Above the chaos, one of the 7 supreme rules emitted light of power and swooped down. In the blink of an eye, a huge hole was torn in the shattered space of the ancient desolate. A holy and dignified pillar of light descended, targeting Hanju. Hanju raised his hand and struck out with his palm. It was invisible and colorless as it directly destroyed the pillar of light. Divine Might Great Heaven Palm. No one could see his ultimate origin power. Even so, the pillar of light that dissipated into thin air displayed his domineering strength. It was as if any power could only disappear in front of him. Hanju's gaze landed on the ancient desolate divine spirit and he said, "I'm tired, I won't talk nonsense with you. Give me your life." His voice was very soft, but it was filled with killing intent. It caused one's heart to turn cold as if they were in ice. With that, the ancient desolate divine spirit instantly vanished and appeared in the ultimate origin heaven seal. The ancient desolate divine spirit was shocked and immediately struggled. What mystical power is this? The ancient desolate divine spirit exclaimed in his heart. He kept using his mystical powers and wanted to jump out, but an invisible force pulled at his body and soul, preventing him from escaping. Hanju tilted his head slightly and glanced at the ancient desolate divine spirit trapped in the ultimate origin heaven seal from the corner of his eye. He said, "Ancient desolate divine spirit, I didn't want to be enemies with you, but you want to destroy my heavenly Tao. Every injustice has its perpetrator and every debt has its debtor. You didn't seek revenge from the Tao ancestor and implicated the innocent. You're just using the excuse of revenge to destroy the heavenly Tao and dominate the chaos. You reached your current cultivation level after cultivating for eons. Why force me? I feel your hatred. So, it's time for you to die." Hanju's voice echoed in the shattered chaotic void, shocking every living being. Far away, the sages in the heavenly Tao Universal Hall looked at the scene in the crystal and their blood boiled. This was their divine might heavenly sage. Forever invincible. He would never lose. Hanju glanced at the ancient desolate divine spirit behind him and narrowed his eyes. The ultimate origin heaven seal emitted a powerful pressure that scattered the ancient desolate divine spirit's body. Impossible! You want to defeat me just like that? Divine might heavenly sage, you think too highly of yourself. The ancient desolate divine spirit shouted angrily. In an instant, his soul exploded and transformed into a divine light that vanished. Hanju seemed to sense something and glanced over. Among the million geniuses in the distance, a genius shone with divine light. The ancient desolate divine spirit's aura appeared on his body and increased crazily. No wonder this fellow had possessed so many geniuses. It was to escape. After successfully possessing him, the ancient desolate divine spirit flew out from the million geniuses and looked down at him. Your mystical power is impressive, but do you dare to destroy the million geniuses behind me? Vicious. Wouldn't Hanju offend the entire chaos if he did this? That would cause endless trouble. These million geniuses covered all the factions in the chaos. Hanju smiled. So this is what you ate relying on? How can you take revenge on the heavenly Tao and unite the chaos with these methods? If you control the chaos, when experts challenge your status, you will use the living beings of the chaos to threaten them. You will say that if they dare to act recklessly, you will kill the living beings of the chaos and make them unable to be the controller of the chaos? His words were filled with mockery, making the spectators want to laugh but not dare to. In the eyes of these two, the living beings of the chaos were as if they could be destroyed with a wave of their hand. How could they not feel sorrow? The ancient desolate divine spirit said coldly, "Divine might heavenly sage, you're so good with words. Defeat me with strength first." He raised his hands and the entire ancient desolate trembled violently as he absorbed the power of the entire place. He suddenly waved his palm and his surging dermic powers gathered into dazzling light, causing the chaotic domain to lose its color. The ultimate origin heaven seal instantly appeared in front of Hanju and absorbed the ancient desolate divine spirit's dermic powers. In an instant, the ancient desolate divine spirit appeared behind Hanju. A purple staff appeared in his right hand and struck at him. The light of the purple staff was like flames. Just as it was about to hit Hanju, the ultimate origin heaven seal blocked it. The ancient desolate divine spirit was moved. He didn't expect there to be more than one ultimate origin heaven seal. The ultimate origin heaven seal behind Hanju was far smaller than the one in front of him, but it was extremely hard and easily blocked the purple staff. The ancient desolate divine spirit's eyes turned cold. The purple staff distorted the surrounding space. Countless illusions surrounded them, as if they had fallen into an endless illusion abyss. The various forms of life and the 18 scenes of hell entered their eyes. The two of them kept hanging upside down. Child's play! Hanju snorted disdainfully. The ultimate origin heaven seal behind him emitted a terrifying suction force and directly absorbed the ancient desolate divine spirit, instantly destroying it. The surrounding endless illusion shattered. Hanju glanced over and saw that another prodigy had obtained the ancient desolate divine spirit's aura. There was no end to it. Hanju immediately rushed over. The ancient desolate divine spirit leaped and struck out with both palms. Each palm was a different mystical power. Countless afterimages appeared behind him as he waved his palms. The mystical powers also had different changes and were endlessly profound. The spectators kept retreating. Even Han Huang, this is the Great Tao Supreme Realm? No! It surpasses the Great Tao Supreme Realm. Han Huang looked up at the high and mighty ancient desolate divine spirit with clenched fists. He would be so strong one day. Wait, no! He wanted to be stronger. The ultimate origin heaven seal blocked all the ancient desolate divine spirit's mystical powers. Hanju was still advancing. With every step he took, the ultimate origin heaven seal crushed forward with unstoppable force. A black shadow suddenly condensed behind him. Fiend celestial Dharma idols. The ancient desolate divine spirit frowned and was vigilant, but his mystical power did not stop. A vast pressure had already spread throughout the chaos. Gaze after gaze crossed the distance and landed on the battlefield. Hanju even felt the ultimate god of punishment's gaze, But he didn't care. The ultimate god of punishment would be defeated even if he came. The black shadow behind Hanju suddenly disappeared. In the next second, he appeared among the million geniuses and kept sucking them away. Those geniuses were all heavenly Tao life forms, including Tao Sovereign and the others. In the blink of an eye, the fiend celestial Dharma idols had already snatched away all the heavenly Tao geniuses at an extremely fast speed. The ancient desolate divine spirit raised his right hand again. Purple light burst out from his palm. Endless chaotic heavenly thunder and turove, causing the sky to look shattered. Figures flew out from the chaotic heavenly thunder, causing the spectators to be moved. Divine authority generals. Countless divine authority generals swooped down at Hanju. His black hair fluttered and his red eyes were cold. The ultimate origin heaven seal in front of him emitted a dazzling light and directly sucked the divine authority generals into it. Hanju raised his left hand and slapped out with the divine might great heaven palm. It was invisible and directly shattered the ancient desolate's two halves. All of this happened too quickly. The ancient desolate was shattered the moment the divine authority generals appeared. The ancient desolate divine spirit's eyes widened in anger. Although the ancient desolate could no longer affect him, it had nurtured him as if it was his body. How could he not be angry? Divine might heavenly sage, you're really courting death. The ancient desolate divine spirit suddenly leaped. The million geniuses followed him into the sky. They were like arrows piercing through layers of space, rushing towards the seven supreme rules. Hanju stepped into the ultimate origin passage and appeared above the ancient desolate divine spirit's head. The ultimate origin heaven seal pressed down like a mountain and blocked the other party. The ancient desolate divine spirit was destroyed again and possessed another prodigy. The million geniuses dispersed and continued to rush towards the seven supreme rules. Hanju showed a frown. The ultimate origin heaven seal sucked away a million geniuses who struggled in pain. Even if Hanju didn't hurt their origin, they would still suffer unprecedented pain and torture. Humph, you're still a step too slow. A voice came from above, causing Hanju to turn around. Two figures appeared under the seven supreme rules. One was the ancient desolate divine spirit, and the other was the ultimate god of punishment. The two supreme existences raised their right arms and pressed a supreme rule in their palms. Hanju looked at the ultimate god of punishment with a cold gaze. The ultimate god of punishment did not dare to look at him and sighed slightly. The ancient desolate divine spirit looked down at him and said, "You're indeed powerful. I'm not your match, but what if the supreme rules are added?" He directly entered a supreme rule. The ultimate god of punishment poured all his dharmic powers into this rule. His body turned ethereal, as if it would disappear at any moment. The seven supreme rules shook violently and silently, but they looked extremely violent. Even Hanju felt a little uneasy. What was he doing? Hanju focused and didn't dare to act recklessly. Would he provoke the Tao creator if he attacked the supreme rules? Forget it! In any case, there was a trace of will in the Taoist temple. He could revive even if he died. Hanju and the ancient desolate divine spirit attacked with the supreme rules. In that case, the Tao creator could only blame the ancient desolate divine spirit and not him. When Hanju and the ancient desolate divine spirit arrived under the seven supreme rules, the living beings watching the battle couldn't capture their auras. They could only wait. The evil heavenly emperor looked up with narrowed eyes. It was unknown what he was thinking. Han Huang suddenly flew over and asked anxiously, "Your Majesty, where did my father go?" Han Huang was relieved to see his smile. At the same time, the sages in the Heavenly Tao Universal Hall were also worried. They were not the only ones. The five great divine punishers in the divine robe Taoist Tao field were also watching the battle. "My godfather has disappeared!" Yi Tian exclaimed. His sage sense swept through the chaos but couldn't track Hanju. Han Tuo frowned, his eyes filled with worry. The battle between Hanju and the ancient desolate divine spirit affected the hearts of countless cultivators in the chaos. This battle was very important. If the divine might heavenly sage won, the situation in the chaos would not change. If the ancient desolate divine spirit won, the future would be immeasurable. The divine might heavenly sage was already the strongest in the chaos after killing 20,000 divine authority generals, but he did not persecute the chaos. However, the ancient desolate divine spirit was different. All living beings did not know it, but the ancient desolate was not a good place. Voss. The 7 supreme rules twisted wantonly like 7 furious dragons that stirred the 3,000 great Tao. The ultimate god of punishment looked up at the supreme rules. 7-colored light shone on his face. He turned to look at Hanju below and discovered that he was very calm. He couldn't help but ask, "Why aren't you attacking?" Hanju replied, "It involves the supreme rules. I don't dare to act recklessly. If anything happens, you two will be the scapegoats." The ultimate god of punishment continued to ask, "Then why didn't you escape? Do you think you can defeat the ancient desolate divine spirit who has grasped the power of the supreme rules?" Hanju's answer was still casual, as if he was chatting and not fighting to the death. The ultimate origin heaven seal floated behind him. The souls of the million geniuses had already been controlled by him and placed into it. He would release them after the battle. The ultimate god of punishment was silent, not knowing what to say. He was also very embarrassed and felt a little guilty towards Hanju. But there was no choice. He had been the leader of the divine spirits for a period of time. He felt that there were higher existences. Those existences were manipulating the chaotic rules. He was only a puppet. "Sorry, divine might heavenly sage. You will understand my difficulties one day." "No, you won't have that day anymore." The ultimate god of punishment sighed. At this moment, one of the supreme rules suddenly condensed into a human form. It was the ancient desolate divine spirit. The ancient desolate divine spirit slowly descended and left the other 6 supreme rules. His entire body turned into white light and only a pair of cold eyes were revealed as he looked down at Hanju. "Next, I'll let you experience the power of the divine authority." The ancient desolate divine spirit suddenly fell at an extremely fast speed. The ultimate origin heaven seal protected Hanju, but it was still knocked down by the ancient desolate divine spirit. In the blink of an eye, it returned to the ancient desolate. Their vast and terrifying aura descended into the chaos again, causing all living beings to shiver. Soon, his feet landed on a piece of land. This land was extremely hard and was already the bottom of the chaos. The ultimate origin heaven seal shattered, leaving Hanju no choice but to dodge. "Ha ha ha! Your mystical power is nothing much." The ancient desolate divine spirit stopped in the air and laughed wildly. Hanju landed on a distant mountain. Shadows appeared and quickly disappeared. Dharma idol fusion technique. He looked at the ancient desolate divine spirit and snorted. "You're indeed powerful, but aren't you worried about suffering a backlash? Using the supreme rules will disturb the chaos. You will bear unimaginable karma. Even if you defeat me, how can you control the chaos?" He was stalling for time. "Divine might heavenly sage, you're very powerful. I'll give you another chance. Kneel down and submit to me." He stared at Hanju with a playful gaze. This was madness. Hanju cursed silently. In this short period of time, he had already fused with the 3,000 fiend celestial Dharma idols. An extremely terrifying power had accumulated in his body, but the ancient desolate divine spirit couldn't sense it under the ultimate origin power's obstruction. "Sorry, good and evil can't coexist. You have no pity for all living beings, so I naturally can't believe you. Even if I die, I have to protect the chaos and fight you. Hanju rejected righteously and quickly rushed towards the ancient desolate divine spirit. The ancient desolate divine spirit was furious. We have already surpassed the great Tao Supreme Realm. You actually dare to reject me with this nonsense that only restricts mortals. You are insulting my sincerity to you. In that case, you can die. He raised his right palm and struck out. The power of the supreme divine authority poured out. The rule divine light turned the bottom of the chaos into daytime. The sky in every corner of the chaos shone with the divine light of the supreme rules. Hanju also waved his palm the moment the ancient desolate divine spirit attacked. Primordial divine rage. Divine might great heaven palm. Hanju's ultimate origin power collided with the supreme power of the ancient desolate divine spirit. The ground at the bottom of the chaos instantly collapsed. All existences were crushed into ashes and the entire chaos shook. A strong light flashed. It was unknown if it was an eternity or an instant before the world regained its color. Hanju and the ancient desolate divine spirit floated in the ruined void behind each other. The divine light on the ancient desolate divine spirit's body dissipated like ashes, revealing his main body's soul. His face was filled with shock and disbelief. Impossible, impossible, the ancient desolate divine spirit muttered with a trembling voice. He turned to look at Hanju with difficulty. Hanju suddenly appeared in front of him and threw the ultimate origin heaven seal at him. This time, the ancient desolate divine spirit did not struggle anymore. He had already lost the strength to struggle. He stared at Hanju with fear. That's right. Fear. The ancient desolate divine spirit thought that it was already invincible, but it still couldn't withstand a single blow from Hanju. Who are you? The ancient desolate divine spirit asked with a trembling voice, but he already had the answer. It turned out that the illusory transcendent existences he had always been afraid of were in the chaos. The divine might heavenly sage was one of them. Hanju's expression was indifferent as he said, I'm only a chaotic fiend celestial hiding in the heavenly Tao to cultivate. If not for you insisting on flattening the heavenly Tao, I wouldn't have made a move. Why must cultivation have conflicts? Ancient desolate divine spirit, you no longer have a chance to start over. With that, the ultimate origin heaven seal directly crushed the ancient desolate divine spirit's soul body. The bottom of the chaos fell silent as the ancient desolate divine spirit's soul dissipated. Some stars could still be seen in the sky after the supreme rule dissipated, constantly restoring the shattered void at the bottom of the chaos. Hanju glanced up and discovered some living beings at the bottom of the chaos. Other than that, countless grudges were scattered in all directions. He did not care and disappeared. He quickly arrived above the chaos and found the ultimate god of punishment. The ultimate god of punishment looked incredulous. He stared at Hanju and asked in anger, how can you destroy the power of the supreme rules? Hanju said, perhaps it's the power of justice. The supreme rule rejects the ancient desolate divine spirit and doesn't help him much. It only made him lose. The existence of the supreme rule definitely has a meaning. Once it's violated, it will only attract eternal damnation. The ultimate god of punishment's expression changed as many guesses appeared in his mind. At this moment, Hanju suddenly appeared in front of him and struck him with the great change sealing palm. Hanju was extremely fast. Only the ancient desolate divine spirit could barely keep up. The ultimate god of punishment was directly sealed. The ultimate god of punishment's eyes widened as he stared at him. Hanju raised his hand and put the ultimate god of punishment into his sleeve. He suddenly felt a gaze land on him. It only took an instant for Hanju to be shocked, but he hid it very well and didn't show it. Tao Creator. Hanju looked up. The supreme rule fused by the ancient desolate divine spirit had unknowingly recovered. The 7 supreme rules were above the 3,000 great Tao. They were ancient and eternal. For some reason, he seemed to see the Tao creator standing on the supreme rules. Hanju immediately disappeared and came in front of Han Huang. His voice resounded through the chaos. All the living beings in the chaos could hear it, including the living beings of the heavenly Tao immortal world, but the mortal worlds could not. Hanju nodded at the evil heavenly emperor and brought Han Huang into the ultimate origin passage. The Black Heaven general muttered to himself, "It's over so quickly." He had thought that it would be an evenly matched battle. He did not expect the ancient desolate divine spirit to be so weak against the divine might heavenly sage. He wasn't the only one. All the spectators were shocked. Even the evil heavenly emperor was amazed. Could this kid really be the strongest in the chaos? The evil heavenly emperor thought silently. In the ultimate origin passage, Han Huang was extremely excited and kept asking questions. Hanju briefly explained the details of the battle, making his son's blood boil. "I want to learn your mystical power just now." "You can't learn it. Only I can use this mystical power. Everyone has their own Tao. You will understand in the future." Han Huang was deep in thought. He believed that his father would not lie to him. The two of them quickly returned to the third Tao field. Hanju was alone in the Taoist temple and did not allow Han Huang to enter. Will the million geniuses ancient desolate divine spirit possess die if I curse him to death? Hanju asked in his mind. He had already checked his interpersonal relationships. The ancient desolate divine spirit was not dead yet. 100 trillion years of lifespan will be deducted. Do you want to continue? Continue. The ancient desolate divine spirit suffered a backlash from the supreme rule and has been expelled by the chaos. It has lost control of all its clones. He had really suffered a backlash. Hanju checked the emails. Your enemy, the ancient desolate divine spirit, devoured the supreme rule and was attacked by a transcendent existence. His karma and fate were expelled from the chaos. Indeed, a Tao creator had taken action. It seemed that his acting was still very successful. Hanju came to the main Tao field and released the ultimate god of punishment into the primordial heavenly prison. The ultimate god of punishments had already been sealed, but Hanju would still personally take care of him to prevent any accidents. On the other side, Han Qinger's blood boiled. She was so excited that she couldn't control herself. Why did father only bring you and not me? I was the one who begged father. Who asked you not to sense that he was leaving? No wonder father suddenly came to chat with us. He was leaving behind his last words. Damn it, I actually missed it. Ha ha ha, I think he just did it on a whim. You didn't see father's glory. He doesn't care about the ancient desolate divine spirit at all. Han Huang clenched his fists when he talked about the previous battle. At the same time, the heavenly Tao rejoiced. The current immortal world was no longer like in the past. News of the chaos often spread in the immortal world. All the living beings in the immortal world also knew of the ancient desolate's threat. They didn't expect the divine might heavenly sage to personally go to the chaos and flatten the ancient desolate. The happiest were the sages. In the universal hall, Heavenly Venerate Xian Du also smiled. He had made the right bet. However, he was still shocked. He never expected Hanju to personally go to the ancient desolate and settle this matter alone. From the battle time, the ancient desolate divine spirit was probably far from being the divine might heavenly sage's match. At this moment, Heavenly Venerate Xian Du became arrogant. It's time to make your choice, 3 pure sacred world. Heavenly Venerate Xian Du's eyes flickered and he smiled. In the future, more and more chaotic mighty figures rushed to the heavenly Tao to save their juniors and disciples. However, Hanju didn't appear. The sages could only treat him politely and let them wait for a while. The heavenly Tao was overjoyed, but the great Tao divine spirits of the chaos panicked. The ancient desolate had been destroyed. Would the divine might heavenly sage find trouble with them? They didn't dare to think too much and could only wait for the ultimate god of punishment's instructions. A barren continent floated in the void in the chaos. A man sat at the peak of a mountain in the depths of the continent. It was the #1 prodigy of the heavenly Tao, Azure Heaven Mystic. As he cultivated, Azure Heaven Mystic looked up at the void with burning eyes. Divine might heavenly sage. How impressive, Azure Heaven Mystic muttered to himself. He had been wandering the chaos for many years and had some understanding of it. He had often heard of the ancient desolate. Even so, the moment the divine might heavenly sage attacked, the ancient desolate divine spirit directly died. This was the invincible path he yearned for. He had worshipped the divine might heavenly sage since he was young. Now, this worship had reached the extreme. Only those who understood how strong the divine might heavenly sage was would sigh at his boundless dharmic powers. Do you want to defeat the divine might heavenly sage? A voice floated into Azure Heaven Mystic's ears, startling him so much that he suddenly stood up. Who? Azure Heaven Mystic scanned his surroundings with a vigilant expression. He was clearly the only one on this continent. He didn't sense the other party's infiltration. How could he not be shocked?